on the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I'll tell you what, I was having a brutally tough morning. Maybe even late into yesterday. I don't think so. I think it hit me really more this morning. And needed something to pick me up. And I got it. Not only, the weird part though, is I got it 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. Put all the stuff together, was feeling already kind of cranky. Got in, saw just shit news. I was tired of all this legal stuff. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, my answer came. I shared it on my Twitter, by the way. I think I was one of the first people to post it because I literally recorded it live, pretty much. And what Daryl Issa said was the key, the secret, the sauce. I'm not going to bury it far. I think I've got a couple funny things I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to share the 5-minute video that I shared on my Twitter, and I'm going to, I think, play it from my Twitter. Might as well, right? I recorded it in a high-resolution format, if you so desire, or if it gets shared, at least it's not crap quality like most of the friggin' time. Also, this, just the thumbnail here is a April Fool's joke. If any of you clicked on this, like literally thinking like, oh my God. Yeah, it's funny as hell though. What Comer, I think, put this out and said that he's actually going to have a commission Hunter because he needed money. He knew it was hard up to paint a picture of him. So I think he had AI do this. Is pretty funny. So all said, that was, we're poking fun just right out of the gate. Just usually a good idea. That's what I try to do on this wonderful show for those of you that have not been here yet. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And also, if you could do the thumbs up thing and all that nonsense, just hit it up early because it probably matters saying it sooner than later. But yeah, Rep. James Comey, I heard Hunter Biden is facing financial hardship, so I decided to commission him to paint my official chairman portrait. No favors from the big guy, I promise. It'll hang on the Oversight Committee hearing room at the end of my term as chairman. Yeah, he's kidding, of course. But still, funny, I think, nonetheless. This is powerful. This is also what I think we're up against. I also realized this morning, and I think this has been part of my frustration, like this book, I've told you guys about the Naked Bible. It's been a huge thing for me. And I realized that, at least in my case, that there's a lot of stuff that I'm very, very into that is unfortunately just not for everybody, right? Like, and not because you guys can't. It's just that most of you don't want it. So I'm going to like keep probably, I mean, I'll talk about it on the spiritual side shows stuff I do, but the normal news, I was going to try to maybe pull back a little on some of that because I feel like it might be better for more people. But I do talk crazy shit, and I will still, I don't know, it's going to happen. I don't think there's any way to get around it because this kind of stuff is a perfect example. And I like this chick a lot. Caroline Leave It, I believe it is, whatever. You'll love it or leave it, I swear. She's, talking about what I very much agree with. Very, very much agree with. And I feel like, and this is like the question I had this morning is like, ascension may be different for all of us. Like I do think there's many levels of ascension that are happening, or graduation I really kind of almost like, and Law of One kind of gets into it. The harvest is what it calls it. But I think the same concept exists. And we are in this version of a spiritual warfare of the message, of the information, the knowledge, who we actually are is probably, in my mind, from all the crap I know, the knowledge of who we are as beings is incredibly powerful and is something that has been so damaged. Most of us think very, very lowly of ourselves. And I don't mean that in a, you're not pretty or something like that, like far more significant than that. And that's what they've really reduced us down to is silly stuff like that. Like, does this outfit make me look fat? No, huh? That doesn't even matter. If you are overweight, it's because of the unhealthy areas within our spirit. And so I feel like a broken record. I feel bad for you guys. I'm assuming a bunch of you guys don't give a crap about me talking this way. Most of you guys disagree with me, I think. Why am I just trying to swim upstream? I'm just gonna let the current take me. Tired of fighting. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna, continue learning myself. I think it's fun and I think it's important, but maybe it's not for everybody. I'm learning. I'm growing. Sorry, guys. But back on subject, spiritual warfare.
I certainly believe in spiritual warfare, and I think I saw it firsthand, especially throughout the campaign trail with President Trump. And I think there certainly were evil forces, and I think that the president was saved by the grace of God on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, and he's in this moment for a reason. We're all here for a reason, and I think it's a miraculous thing that has taken place in our country.
Yeah, very much. And I think miraculous things are happening and continuing to happen in our great nation. Another powerful bit of video that I think is going to help is this.
You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won. You just have to flood.
Yeah, the game's won, and I don't know. There's truth to this, and this one I think was one of the things that was like just a big. I wouldn't say it was more of a gut punch than like a chin punch. Like it wasn't like knockout. It was just suck the wind out of me for a second. It's not like a habitual. It's like every once in a while I'll have a couple days where I'll listen to I talk about. I used to be really popular there, which is so funny, and I'm not popular there anymore. All my quote competition is, but not me. I think I show up and then disappear very quickly. I don't know. People don't like me over there anymore. But before it's news, I still talk about them, and it's just an easy place to find a bunch of the people that I don't typically listen to. One, because they influence me like they are, and two, because I don't usually agree with them, and they're usually wrong. And so there's a bunch of them I just like to hear the crazy shit they're saying. So coupled with all these things, I realize there's a whole bunch of people that are listening to someone far more popular. And I'm doing my best, right? So whatever. I could be crazy, batshit crazy. You should always assume that. But I just realized, at least in my mind, I'm like, I try really hard to lead people well. I really do. I meditated this morning specifically. This has been really, really bothering me. This is the hardest part of my journey, I think, is I take great care and responsibility for you guys. And that's the thing that's hard for me. It's like I can't. To be popular, I have to do things that I totally disagree with, which I can't. It's karmic. It's a thing. I can't do it. I can't, and I don't want to, but I can't. And then I watch people doing these things, and it works still for so many. And then I just kind of had to realize, I'm like, dude, those aren't your people. That's why I always talk about the teacher of teachers, the true ripple makers. That's you. The regular people are not who I'm here for. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you help the big picture. And I think we are actually doing very well. And yes, there are a lot of things that look horrible, but I think our light is shining and creeping through the fog, if you will, further and further every single day. And the more each one of us wakes up, it's why I think it's so important, the more we actually shine brighter. The more you wake up, it's like the more electricity you give that light, that's you, right? The brighter it literally comes. And it's not going to pop. It can take as much energy as you can get to it. How much can you get to it? And the brighter it shines, the further it goes, the more stuff that will fly from the darkness to the light in order to, one, not be alone, which is how so many feel, and two, to be in the light. This is you. This is me. This is where we reflect each other. It's been hard for me lately, man. So anyway, share that with you guys. I think we're about to get to the video. This video is rad. I thought this was huge. So here, I'm going to preface it a little, okay? Because I don't want to oversell it, but at the same time, I don't want to undersell it. We've got a lot of judges, and I've got all these stories. I think they're over in this section here, right? All the judges telling us no right here. These fucked up stories. This is really, I had them all laid out before I got to this, before I found this. Right? So a lot of bummed feelings in my mind. Like all these different judges, these district judges are shutting down everything we're trying to do. What the budgety fudge? And then this happened, and I found this, and it was only because I was watching this stupid hearing, and I wanted to turn this hearing off like 5 times because it was annoying as shit. That Crockett bitch started talking, no offense, sweetheart, but that is how you come across. I'm not being disrespectful because you're a lady. It's because you seem like a bitch. ICE had popped on and did this, shared this, and this is awesome because this is how we're threatening them to move forward. Darrell Issa has laid it out congressionally for Trump and even went so far as to pat Trump on the back and say, the dude's doing an admirable job trying to follow your rules, but he really doesn't need to. Here's the case law for how he can get around this. Did you want a way to get around this? That's exactly what this video is. Check this out. This was tight. So tight. He was talking to, not Gingrich, but Gingrich was here, and this has been a lot of cool stuff I heard him say. This was the other gentleman. This guy knows his stuff. You're going to like this.
On Justice Thomas and Alito, and I'm going to note that when Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as we know her, filed articles of impeachment.
Question for me, which I'll yield to you now if you want.
Now that there's no time left.
Question for me, which I'll yield to you now if you want.
Now that there's no time left. Thanks, Eric.
Entertainment.
You're good. You're good at that, but I'll take my own time. I'll recognize myself. And I'm going to note that when Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as we know her, filed articles of impeachment on Justice Thomas and Alito, Ms. Crockett was one of the co-sponsors along with Mr. Cohen, both members of this committee. It does seem interesting that when the shoe is on the other foot, everyone is self-righteous. And I think this is a good example. For the last 3 hours, I have had to listen to one side talking about impeachment as though it was the nature of this hearing. It is not. I keep looking at my friend, the late Henry Hyde, and remember that although he led the impeachment when it was necessary, he did so only during that time and then never mentioned it again in hearings. In fact, he was religiously able to focus on the hearing of the day. The hearing of today is really about the question of the future of the court's ability to do its job as intended. And I'm going to get into a couple of things fairly quickly. Last night, a California judge, Judge Chen, proactively stopped the ending of these temporary protective status. So the very person that they're talking about, who is now apparently back in his home country of El Salvador, can no longer be sent there because a judge has decided in California to stop an action which was done completely by one president at his discretion. And when another president says, I'm ending it at my discretion, they stop him. So I'm going to go to Mr. Larkin first. You mentioned earlier on Alaska, I think, in passing about judges in various places. And I'll reiterate a question that Speaker Gingrich also answered earlier. If one judge can take a case before them and make rulings on behalf of plaintiffs not there, and yet it's a district court judge. And we know that courts around the country routinely take similar cases with different plaintiffs and decide them differently. And that's how we generally get to the Supreme Court, is to resolve those. Is there any reason that this administration couldn't file a declaratory judgment, not in California where Judge Chen ruled, but in some other place, let's say Texas, which has been mentioned today, and get a different outcome, and in fact undo and give in fact the administration a legitimate right to say, no, we've been found not to be enjoined, but we have a right to do it as long as we siphon it through Texas instead of California. Is there any reason today that that doesn't exist as a problem of these national injunctions, which are not in the jurisdiction of these judges?
What you're talking about is a problem that the Supreme Court contemplated when it decided the Mendoza case some years ago. It recognized that different courts will decide issues differently, and it decided not to bind the government the first time it lost. If the government lost in Maine, it could continue to take the same position in Alaska or in the other states. They were asked to basically adopt a one-and-done rule, and the Supreme Court rejected it. So it's permissible under the law.
So when people talk about this president acting illegally, the fact is, this president, by acquiescing to these and going through the appellate process, actually is going further than he has to under the Constitution. The reality is, he could simply say, you made your decision, we just won't do it in your district, but we'll do it elsewhere, and we'll seek other remedies in other areas. So the fact is, this administration has been overly generous for this first 70-some days, correct?
The Supreme Court in Mendoza was unanimous. It included conservatives and liberals on that court, and they allowed that development to
under
occur.
Mendoza, the fact is only the Supreme Court speaks for the entire nation, and that is what we are discussing here today. It's the issue before us. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to just derive a couple of other quick things. There was an earlier question on Rule 65. Mm-hmm. Now, these are produced by the court, and the unambiguous language of it says that, in fact, at least in some cases, we won't argue over any one of these now approaching 100 cases, there has to be a bond, and yet there have been no bonds. Is that correct?
I have not searched the record in all those cases, so
We have. There hasn't been a bond.
I'll trust you on that.
So Rule 65 is being ignored by these activist judges, and as a result, there's a real question about, in disobedience of those rules, in absence of a bond, they may in fact not be enforceable as valid, correct?
That may be. I would not say they've been ignored, because if they weren't raised by the government as an issue in the case, then they might have just been overlooked. So
I would trust that from this day forward, they will not be overlooked.
Shaken, not stirred, my dear. Please. Yes, a bond. James Bond. Yeah, no bonds. So, again, all of this is very, very strange, but this gave me the ultimate hope. I realized, holy crap, this is one judge saying you can't do this in our district. There's already settled law. Supreme Court says, yes, Supreme Court is rule of the overall land. You, district. Which means, quite simply, we can shop for judges. We can shop for other avenues on how to do this and do it. And no longer will these very small, specific situations be able to hurt us. This, I want to say, put a smile on my face. I want to say that's what just happened. Now, again, here's where we get into all the shit. I wanted to have the good thing, and also I didn't want to bury the lead. All right, let's get into the fun news. So TikTok user, I'm not going to play him. I don't care. I'm not going to give him the reach. I'm not going to let his words matter anyways. Of course, they played him on Fox. TikTok user Bilal Donk. He posted a video urging people to shoot ICE agents. This is, again, Kristi Noem came out and basically said, look, anybody that does anything like that's going to die, essentially. He'll be persecuted, prosecuted, and possibly destroyed. But calling for that, calling for violence in any way, shape, or form, even hinting at it at this point to me is just so atrocious. And there's so much of it. Firefighters reported on Monday that a fire broke out. This was in a Tesla factory in Rome, destroyed 17 cars. This is not Musk's home. Not that that's okay. But this is a group of people that are taking out on public property, or, well, private property, sorry, their angers towards an individual, and they say, well, it's insured or whatever they say. But again, the argument would be, we don't agree with what you're doing as a protester. Wouldn't the same against, right? Like your house or something? I mean, like, come on. Where does this go? Where does this end? Everything reciprocates, and violence is not the answer. Peace is the answer. Figuring out how to get along is the answer. Forcing your opinion on people is not the answer. Both sides do it, by the way. Both sides do it. There's lots of people that are Republicans that, maybe are kind of dicks. And there's some Democrats that maybe aren't dicks. Most of them are, but a few. So we're getting serious. We're cracking down. I like this chick a lot. Pam Bondi rocks. She's a rock star. There's people still beating up on her, whatever. I don't care. She has my vote. Right now, Luna has lost my vote. There's more bad news about her, but whatever. But here's one of my good friends, Pam Bondi. Never met her. Yeah, but she's like besties. We talk all the time. No, we don't.
I've made it clear, if you take part in the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, we will find you, arrest you, and put you behind bars. Today, I'm proud to announce that the Department of Justice has unsealed federal charges against another Tesla attacker. We've charged Cooper Frederick in the firebombing of a Tesla dealership that occurred on March 7th in Loveland, Colorado. All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison. The crime was committed in Colorado, and thanks to the great investigative work by the FBI, the defendant was arrested in Plano, Texas. Let this be a warning. You can run, but you cannot hide. Justice is coming.
Bye. So I don't know if it's just me. It's got to be. Guys, fellas, ladies, can you go grab something real quick from the fridge? Not for me. I'm not trying to say that's what your job is. I'm just saying, can you step away? Guys, now I just want you to listen to like the first 5 seconds and just be like, imagine her saying this in some sort of outfit that you would imagine to be attractive. You're going to have to use your imagination. It's a good skill. But she's saying this to you as you're about to play hide and seek inside the house.
I've made it clear, if you take part in the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, we will find you, arrest you, and put you behind bars.
That part, I think.
Today,
I don't know what it is. I like the ferocity of it. I want some furry cuffs, though. I don't want to hurt myself. But whatever. I have issues, guys. We're actually cracking down, and I can't help but always joke whenever it matters the most. That's probably the thing that hurts me most. Well, once the DOGE team breached the fortress of taxpayer-funded tranquility, known as the U.S. Institute of Peace, the USIP, as it was called, the accounting firm overseeing its books promptly deleted over a terabyte of financial data. An act as subtle as a burglar torching the crime scene. Fortunately, Big Balls intervened. The guy that's working for Musk on DOGE, Big Balls, the one that everyone hates, the guy that's probably extraordinarily good, probably one of the best, quote, hackers that exists out there. Literally. Not joking. Like the number one dude, maybe number two, but probably number one. There's probably questions about it. Big Balls. He intervened. He recovered the lost data that they deleted, exposing a veritable orgy, love the word use, of fraud, waste, and abuse, including the agency's peculiar addiction to private jet travel. USIP was spending gobs of money on all sorts of stupid shit, and nobody was paying attention at all. Here's Elon Musk talking about that. I don't know if he's referring to today. This post was done on the 31st, so yesterday. Now it's April Fool's, and I don't know if he's planning on what, but I've got something after this that might hint. And who knows, but you're going to trip a little bit. Check it out.
I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow. This is someone who actually stole 400,000 social security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database, and was selling social security numbers and all the identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. And this is like, by the way, a particular avenue of fraud for like illegal immigrants and for voter fraud, because the main way that identification is established in the United States is via Social Security. So if you compromise the Social Security system, you can basically get people to get de facto registered to vote, even if they're not citizens, and to get a bunch of benefits and to milk the system. It's pretty insane. Like the Democrats basically taken every part of the government that could possibly be bent towards providing financial incentives for illegal immigrants to come to and remain in the United States, whether it's Social Security, disability, Medicare, unemployment, even like IRS refunds without any income. It's wild. The diverted FEMA funds, which is supposed to be for helping Americans in distress from natural disasters, to pay for luxury hotels in New York for illegals to stay there. In fact, they're still there. Those hotels are still active.
Daryl Issa, what he said. I'm telling you, where I'm at right now with the whole big picture. Here's what's at stake in Wisconsin's Supreme Court election. This is happening today. Big deal. A lot of stuff going on there. Supreme Court election. The difference between a conservative guy / somebody that's far more radical. Brad Schimmel, the guy that's being voted for today, was the Attorney General, is very much about doing the right thing. We're going to see. This is going to be a big deal if he actually gets voted in, so hopefully everybody goes out there. Donald Trump reminding everybody there is a very important referendum, question 1, on the April 1st ballot to amend the state constitution to require voter ID. Wisconsin, we need you. We need you. By the time this video gets out, you barely got an hour, maybe. I don't know, but get the frick out if you haven't, please. Please, if not, just vote on this. Require voter ID. This and other election integrity measures, including banning drop boxes, same-day voting with paper ballots, can only happen if you get out and vote. I hope people have gotten out that are in Wisconsin. I talked about it a couple days. Come on. For state Supreme Court, make sure to vote for America First patriot Brad Schimmel against Susan Crawford, a radical left liberal with a history of letting child molesters and rapists off easy. She will be one of the most liberal judges ever elected, which would be a disaster for Wisconsin and the United States of America. So important. Please get out and vote yes on question 1 and vote for Brad Schimmel to the Supreme Court tomorrow, April. It's probably why I can't do his voice, because I do it all the time. I bet you. I think that's why. Because there's never a time to do Sean Connery, right? And I can't do but I got to have a name for him, sure, but I don't know. I can't do his voice. Here's more of this speed cameras in California. This is more of the nonsense that the left wants to do to us. This is being fought, it sounds like, and I'm bringing this up because our Californians, come on, people.
San Francisco is launching a new speed safety pilot program backed by Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom, where how much you pay for a speeding ticket depends on who you are. And it's all in the name of equity. On its website, the City Transportation Authority goes out of its way to explain that speed safety cameras will be dispersed across San Francisco in a, quote, equitable fashion. But not everyone will have to pay the same if they get a ticket. Get this. Low-income offenders qualify for steep fine discounts, guys, up to half off. And if you're homeless but speeding in your vehicle, you can get up to 80% discount. Jerry, here's just one of the many problems I have with this. The reason for this program, for the speed cameras, was reportedly because of high injury areas, meaning where pedestrians have been hit and killed. So since all lives are equal, why are we giving discounts on speeding tickets when everyone should understand how serious it is to drive safely where people have died?
I couldn't believe this when I read this. I was like, is this really true? we are all equal in the eyes of the law. Oh, no, we're not. We're not all equal in the eyes of the law. Okay, so might this get extended eventually? So maybe if I commit a burglary and I don't have a lot of money, maybe that's okay. Or maybe I get a reduced sentence. Or I just don't understand the logic operating here. I think we should all be equal in the eyes of the law, and everybody should pay the same fine, serve the same sentence.
Yeah. And
Yes, I agree as well. So this is a strange thing that's happening, and coming to a theater near you if you guys don't pay attention. That's the thing. Texas, even guys, you guys know right now how infiltrated you have, how many spots you have in your little cancerous areas that you can fight with, I'm going to use it just a fake metaphor, but ivermectin or something like that, right? Like, I mean, that's something that can happen, but we got to be aware of it. If you don't see it, you're toast. Gold was up a bit. It's still at 3,116. Holy crap. Yeah, it was at 31.50. So again, it hit a spike and comes down a little. It's going to hit another. I'm just telling you guys, I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Silver's up too. Stocks are where I didn't look at those. Where are we at with those? I was actually kind of curious. There we are. Stocks. So NASDAQ's up a teeny bit from yesterday. It went down a little bit yesterday. Everything else was kind of up yesterday. Now it's down a teeny bit today. I'm telling you guys, it's just all a bunch of nonsense, but what's been consistent is gold's up like 43%, man. 43% gold, just specifically. Silver, I don't know. I would have to look at it a little closely. I don't want to at the moment. I don't want to spend that much time on this. I've talked about it all the time. I've spent hours talking about this. I hope you guys understand why it's a good idea. If you're in a 401k or an IRA, you probably want to consider diversifying at the very least. I'd say get out while you can. Again, a lot of people are saying, no, you'll be okay. There's no way they're going to let your wealth and pension plans get hosed. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know how much control they have over this and how bad. I feel like we're falling, whatever the right word is, a building, right? And you don't want it to you don't want it to, right? So you do it right. You implode it, right? But you still are scared as hell the second you do it, because if it falls and just causes damage. So again, I think we're going to bring it down as safe as we can, and probably very safe. You might be okay. But gold and silver have been going up like crazy because the Federal Reserve note's dying. So when you compare to that thing, that's the problem with the stock market. It uses that. So all said, I've already went way longer than I wanted. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system into a precious metal physical thing. Where's the gold? I don't know where. There it is. Right? One of these, right? One of these things, and you have saved your wealth. It's gone up again, 43% over stocks, 20%, but they're actually down a little bit this year because of some of the crazy stuff that went on with Apple and other things with technology. So again, we're in a weird place. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Let the best company help you through this. Up to 10% free silver, IRA, 401k. Precious metals, by the way. If you just want to buy precious metals and you got some cash that you're like, it'd be fun to have some shiny stuff. He keeps pointing at the cool shiny stuff. We'll get some shiny stuff. They're also good for that. I've done that before too. Great products, great choices. They've got like palladium and platinum and other cool stuff too. They've got a lot of really fun metals. So DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And sometimes the pull-out method is not necessarily what you want. That was weird. I don't know. I'll admit it after the effect. I'm not taking it out. I think it was kind of funny still, but Trump commutes the sentences of of another Hunter Biden business associate. This is Jason Galanis. He pled guilty to two fraud schemes, involved a bunch of money that also went to President Hunter's family, it seems. But the entire value add of Hunter Biden to our business was his family name and access to his father. Talked about that in there as well. A lot of many millions of dollars, 162 million. And so, yeah, there's a definite tie-in to the Biden family on this one. They have given him clemency, and that's fantastic. He's already spent a bunch of time in jail, but that's probably going to lead to some interesting information. They were literally Michael Jacksoning him, is what we're hearing from people. This is kind of a funny way to put it, but Stephen Miller posted this. At the G7 summit in Italy preceding the debate, Biden was tired when he arrived, and in most of the sessions, a Biden aide told Parnes and Allen, I guess to cover up the physical signs of Biden's aging, a makeup artist met with him in the morning when he traveled. The artist also covered up aging signs before Zoom calls with his aides. Biden consistently made these makeup appointments, but he sometimes canceled. Everybody knew about it. That to me is the news. Everybody's talking about it like, yeah, well, it was true. But it's like, but you all went out and swore and called everybody crazy names and stuff and said, or let me say it slightly different. When you said, no, you lied to us. You knowingly lied. Well, but the safety of the country was... You lied, but I had to because you lied. Why would I ever fudge and believe you? I don't know why I'm protecting the F word today. I get these shackles off me. Fuck. God, I feel better, actually. It was is there like an anal retentive when you try to hold in a fuck? Oh, I don't know what's happening to me right now. It's delicious. I'm trying to connect those two weird words. Chelsea Clinton's, her net worth went up to about $70 million, while her husband's is around $45 million. Their total inheritance, about $52 million. I don't want to do the math, but we're pushing, $160 million? No, a little higher than that. Whatever. $165 million. She got funding from USAID. Obamacare Foundation provides afternoon meals to children in Africa, India, and Bangladesh. So she's doing such healthy things. So yet to date, the total number of meals reportedly served is 11,886 meals from this USAID budget. USAID. I'm going to call it USAID because it's funnier in this case. So 12,000 meals, let's call it that. That works out to an astonishing $1,410 per meal. USAID funding, $3.9 million per year. Real estate holdings, $25 million. Monthly expenses, $100,000. Car collection, 8 vehicles. So we've literally got a fund that barely does anything that it says it's doing and provides 8 vehicles to likely 8 people. And our taxes are paying for this. This is a car fund for a family. DOGE found this. No wonder they hate him. No, thanks. So a critical reassessment. This is Dr. Robert Malone, by the way. So, it's actually important. And sorry, YouTube, it's a study. It's legit. A critical reassessment of the anthropogenic CO2 global warming hypothesis. Empirical evidence contradicts IPCC models and solar forcing assumptions. Long story short, they did a bunch of work with the AI, all the temperatures, AI, everything that's available. It took all the data, crunched it with the AI. They made juice out of that lemon, if you will. What they found with all of this extraordinary amounts of stuff is that, no, actually the CO2 doesn't seem to make a bit of damn difference at all. What we actually find is it has more to do with solar activity and temperature cycles are the real culprits, meaning ice ages, not ice ages, not ages. I don't know why it's hard. What's the opposite of an ice age? I don't know what it is, but not ice age is what I feel like it should be said as at the moment, yet hard to say for me. They're the culprits. The sun always made sense to me. I've literally said the F word because of this stupid thing. Like, so many people are like, the sun has nothing to do with weather. It's like, how can you think that? Seriously, how? Explain to me that. My proof, easy. I can prove it in 24 hours. When the sun goes down, when it gets dark, and then I would kind of wait until like the middle of it. We call it midnight, usually. Go outside. Just stand there. Naked. Be like, it's cold. Dan said stand here for 5 minutes. So I'm going to stand here getting bit by mosquitoes or whatever your thing is. Right? And then go inside. And then go out during the middle of the day when the sun is out and stand there naked and tell me if it's not a different experience. Gonna guarantee it is. Why? What changed? Same exact place, right? Like, anyway, too much time. Still, there is like a producer in my head, believe it or not. It's not in there. Like, I don't know where it comes from. Trump plan. It seldom works. That's the problem. Trump plan for the largest U.S. deportation center where up to 10,000 migrants are going to wait to be sent home. So they're literally building out this crazy place down here. There's kind of like the cool picture right here. Right? Well, cool. Might be mean to some people. But so it made me think of all the, the camps. You guys remember the camps prior to 2012? I mean, still they say it now, but I think before then it was them. But the FEMA camps, remember the FEMA camps were going to be the ones where all the body bags were going to held up. And that was going to be from the virus. Like, none of this stuff happened the way they wanted it to. But what's funny is the stuff that they foretold and foresaw is happening to them. That's what I find to be fascinating. That's where I'm like, we changed time zones for timelines for sure. This is the deep state's FEMA camp. This is being put together in New Mexico border. I think they're probably going to build some in Texas. I thought I saw too. All right. And they're going to turn these areas into large camps that they're going to be able to process people out. Meaning there's probably an airport nearby as well. I would assume that's an important thing as well. Ecuador is also preparing for some help from the United States. They're saying, look, this is a rumor, but he is coming to meet with President Trump, and they're in pretty good terms. And this gentleman, the president, I think, Noboa, he is literally asking Trump, like, can you please send some troops? And they want to build an area specific in the port right there where we're like set up. Like, they've been building it, I guess, for a little bit. So this whole thing's kind of being planned. Now it looks like it's time to put it in action. This is going to be to help global interests. This is part of what I've been saying in the larger picture of the single pole of the United States. Greenland's going to fall into it. Canada's going to fall into it. South America, it seems like, is going to fall into it as well, or at least Ecuador, which is right at the equator, which I think Panama's really close to, isn't it? Panama. Anyway, judge blocks Trump administration from stripping deportation protections from Venezuela. So now we've got this judge that's like, no, you can't do that. You can't strip these people's rights, even though they're not legal citizens and really technically have no rights, but they have rights. So the National TPS Alliance, a group that advocates for immigrants, has been able to go to the San Francisco district judge, which, by the way, no, dude, the rice-a-roni treat's really good, okay? So don't poop. We can't lose that. I am pretty sure that our rice-a-roni sales are what's probably keeping our budget afloat, frankly, right now, all right? You guys didn't pry us off into the ocean, so I'm just saying, keep buying the rice-a-roni. Otherwise, San Francisco, ding, ding, right on out. It's just going to slide on out like a big mudslide. So they're trying to stop everything. It's just one of many. I don't know if it matters to you guys, all the stupid specific ones. Maybe it should. J.D. Vance put this out. Joe Biden sanctioned an invasion of the United States. We have approximately 20 million illegal aliens in this country. Their victims are measured in longer wait times for hospitals, overwhelmed schools, and murder victims the media largely ignored. The media has determined the real victims are the gang members we're trying to get out of the country. Again, this is the side the left is taking. But they've been doing it with the district judge. And Darrell Issa really gave me a little bit of a, like, it doesn't feel like heartburn, at least. It feels better than that. That's awesome. Venezuelan, they're urging U.S. Supreme Court to keep deportations on hold. Don't send them back to us. We don't want these people. F them. We don't even like them. Which, says a lot. Now, some of these guys are like, dude, they'll kill me. They'll put me in jail forever. And it's like, well, you say you didn't do anything wrong. You say you're not part of a gang. Maybe you're looking for a new life. I get you. But here's the thing. If you're all that nasty, bad stuff, we don't want you here. Sorry. You can say, oh, Scouts honor. What's Scout? That's the thing, right? Like, I have a friend that does Eagle Scouts. But, like, right? Like, I wouldn't ever. I'll swear in the Bible. Right? Like, whatever. And then you find out that they've murdered people. No. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just, and here's the thing. And this is the sad part. But we're going to be wrong a teeny tiny bit. And they're going to shine giant bright spotlights Like one of them sails where the lights are like, right? Like they're going to shine these bright spotlights on these teeny tiny little one examples where overwhelmingly we got it right. And maybe they'll send them back if you're lucky. I mean, I'm sorry. Sometimes you get caught up in the mix. It's just, you could be hanging out with the wrong people at the wrong time and get processed. It's not something you want to happen, that's for sure. Judge blocks Trump administration firing some intelligence workers in DEI roles. They're like, no, you got to try to hire them in other places. But it's like, we're already trying to eliminate government and people and jobs, right? It's a big thing what they have to do. So we got a judge, again, technically blocking us from just like, well, let's just shave off that whole department. Sorry, guys, we'll pay you unemployment and stuff. It's cool, but peace. No, we don't want to absorb you. We're just going to get you're in a bad department. And that happens sometimes, folks. When you get into the harder times, sometimes the advertising budget, they do it backwards, but they sometimes cut back, right? And depending on who you are and where you are and how that works, and you might end up losing some jobs. It's just things change during economic motions, and sometimes you're going to be, at least we're able to, let's put it that way, start to thin down the government. We need to like crazy. 23 states, D.C., so 23 states and that fucking fabled land called D.C. They're suing Trump administration over billions in lost public health funding. Like all this USAID stuff that stopped flowing into their pockets. They're like, wait a minute. What's up? We used to get a bunch. And I think it's HHS, apparently in this article, it seems, that is really mad. $12 billion in public health funding was unlawful and harmful. It was probably wasteful. Right? Again, this is who these people are that are putting it out. CNN Health, of all people, right? So Trump's transgender military ban has been dealt a legal blow against CNN, I think. News at 11, right? The appeals court ruling agreed with the lower court that said, yeah, we're going to stop you guys from being able to, stop doing transgender military stuff. It's insane. Whatever. Pete Buttigieg, Pete Hegseth. It's funny. That just came out on accident because we were talking about it earlier. But Pete Hegseth came out and basically said, look, men and women now have to be able to perform the same physical requirements to be on the front line. So you can be on hello or not, but ultimately you got to be able to drag 150 pounds, 80 yards or 120 pounds or I hope it's like 180, frankly, because with gear and everything else, it should be more than that probably. If you can't drag it 10 feet, and screw you. You can't be out there. You might be capable, but you can't do what needs to be done. But it's different. No, it's not when you're in war, okay? When you're literally shooting pew-pew at people and fumes are going past you. No. Can't have a chance. Or you getting raped. That's one of the other sad parts about it. Chuck Grassley unveils legislation to clarify scope of judicial reach. Introduced a bill. I don't know if they can. I mean, especially this is where I liked ISA because I already had this story pulled. I was like, this sucks. But they're going to try to clarify what the judicial branch can do. Right? Multiple court rulings and federal judges using universal injunctions, ones that are outside of their jurisdiction. So I think they're trying to block them into that regard. Like you have to stay in your jurisdiction, and it can only be people that are directly impacted. Right? If they're actually plaintiffs, then okay, they get the injunction and the freeze or whatever, but not everybody. Not plaintiffs that don't exist yet. That was one of the little notes I made with ISIS thing. Not plaintiffs that don't actually exist yet. This isn't a blanket policy that you're doing through the court. That's not okay. You can stop for this one individual, but not everybody. That's the Supreme Court's job. House lawmaker moves to oust judge in deportation case with move that skips impeachment. This Arizona congressman is introducing legislation to remove a federal judge who has blocked President Trump's efforts to deport Venezuelan gang members. Again, this is a case where, Boasberg, that's the big argument they're making right now, which I think is hilarious, frankly, from our standpoint, at least most of us, is, well, George Bush brought him in. It's like, yeah, he was one of the worst. What are you talking about? That's not... What, he's a Republican? So? Who gives a shit? George Bush, the Bush family? Bushes were financing the war with the Nazis. Are you shitting me? No, you're not going to throw that in my face. Oh, No, well, money shot it back on you. Dude, no, please. No, that's not happening. So, yes, there's a giant, nasty-ass resolution going on here. And so we'll see. I approach, man, I just feel like it's like you either get this figured out, Supreme Court, or we're going to move. And the Supreme Court might be like, make the move. Do it. That's what we want. That's what they want. Can a district court shut it down for the entire country, or can a district court shut it down for their district? News at 11. Yeah, that's damn straight. Donald Trump, truth is, Senator Kim Kaine, who ran against me with crooked Hillary in 2016, is trying to halt our critical tariffs on deadly fentanyl coming in from Canada. We are making progress to end this terrible fentanyl crisis, but Republicans in the Senate must vote to keep the national emergency in place so we can finish the job and end the scourge. By their weakness, the Democrats have allowed fentanyl to get out of hand. The Republicans and I have reversed the course strongly and quickly. Major additional progress is being made. Don't let the Democrats have a victory. It would be devastating for the Republican Party and, far more importantly, for the United States. Make America great again. I'm curious if he can pull this together, because we do have a couple people that are making things different. Exhibit A. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna has parted ways with the House Freedom Caucus over its stance on the discharge petition matter. She's pushing for a vote to allow proxy voting for new and expected mothers in Congress. She is her child's 2 years old. She wants to be able to vote proxy. She essentially wants to be a member of Congress to be able to vote for things that need to be voted for, but actually wants to be a mom at the same time. And I totally get that. But here's the problem. If you're a deep sea diver and you're a mom, they're not going to like bring the baby down every day so you can nurse them. You know what I mean? Like, you probably shouldn't be a deep sea diver. Like, maybe like take a couple years off. Don't be a rep. Like, if you got to bow out, especially at this point, I mean, again, I liked you, but you've been doing some weird stuff here, sweetheart. I don't know what's going on with Anna Paulina Luna, but now she's stepping away from the Freedom Caucus. Don't know. It's just kind of reminded me of, what's his face? I was thinking about him earlier, but drawing a blank on him. Don't like him. So we're having a problem because this is weeding off our people. The deep state's still able to pull a lot of people back. Again, they got a lot of crazy going on, and this is interesting because that's that whole fight around Mike Johnson, and I don't think she can push it, and I think we're going to destroy her, and I don't think she's ever going to get reelected again. So it's unfortunate, but yeah. House Democrats open a probe into the FCC media investigations under Trump. They don't like the fact that the FCC is going after CBS, NBC, and ABC for all their DEI nonsense, which is what the administration's new policies are. And they don't like that. I don't know. If it was us they were attacking, we'd be pissed. I don't really like the FCC all that much, to be honest with you, but Oversight Dems request interviews with Signal chat members. I just find this to be crazy. This is likely happening. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, they sent a letter. Are we going to dog it? Are we going to ignore it? We're going to drag it out as long as possible, I'm sure. We'll be as transparent as we can be, But anyway, they sent it out Tuesday to members of the Trump administration regarding the Houthi airstrike they talked about on the Signal app. Now, I saw someone talking about how they believed that the reporter, Goldstein or whatever his name was, got added by an MI6 agent. And I had been saying I think they got added by somebody else, but I found that Waltz was falling on the sword because ultimately it was his group. And he stated that, and so he kind of fell on the sword, which I thought was admirable, which to me is one more reason to like him. You know, a lot of people are like, he should get out. Like, no, he shouldn't. He's, I think, doing a great job, and this was stupid, and nothing actually got shared, and so maybe we were trying to establish something else. And that's how I'd almost turn it around at some point, but it'd be like maybe there's cases involved with what's happened already. So we can't exactly talk about it, but maybe there was other things or other reasons we did this. That's all I can say. Maybe. And then just leave it at that, because that's like dropping the mic, right? And then there's nothing they can do or say because it's already done. Yeah, Stephen Miller talked about, just this whole thing has been played out in a very interesting way. So I don't know if these guys show up, when they show up. I don't know. They're going to say you have to, and then at some point they got the threat and stuff because they didn't show. I don't know if we're going to be like that because that was the Biden administration on everything, so that would play poorly. So they'll probably show up last minute, I assume, or at least file legitimate legal stuff that can delay it. Maybe that would make more sense. Health and Human Services, they're going to lay off 10,000 workers and close agencies in a major restructuring. That's kind of good stuff. I'm sure it'll get fought. We've also got FAA employee charged with assault, by the way. Yeah, after an altercation in air traffic control tower at Reagan National Airport. Tried to look up some stuff on this dude. Apparently his name, he's from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm sure some stuff's going to come out around him. But Damon Marsalis Gaines, 38-year-old, charged with assault and battery in relation to the incident. Something happened in the tower at the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority. I don't know if you can only imagine. It was Ronald Reagan Airport, which is where the crash was recently. Don't know if somebody's getting called out. You were working that night, and it's your fault. And somebody suddenly just starts pounding on somebody. Who knows? I don't know. That's kind of what popped into my head, but it could be a whole number of things. I tried to look them up. I didn't find anything important. Basically, it was all the same crap that was in the story. So, meh. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Trump's new White House drug czar called medical marijuana a fantastic treatment for cancer patients. Getting blown out of proportion a little bit, maybe make some people a little freaked out. I don't know. This chick's pretty on board with maybe not making it be illegal nationwide. I know a lot of people that would say, right, in relation to that. So, yeah, who knows? Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Marty Makary signed off on the ouster of top vaccine official Peter Marks shortly after being quietly sworn in as agency's new leader late last week. This is from people close to Politico. I believe the guy talked about it once it happened, so I think that's a legit leak. I'm sure the 4 people were probably the same person. But yeah, apparently his removal was forced. Robert F. Kennedy playing a part in this. They're obviously going to go after him hard. We were expecting them to go after him in regards to this like sex thing they were saying, like he sexually harassed somebody or whatever. I was expecting that to play out. Maybe they're going to wait until the weekend. I forget how usually you do it early and then they talk about it all week, but maybe we threatened something. So who knows what's going on. It's crazy. I love this Pet Club 247 company. They're awesome. If you go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com, you're going to see this awesome product and appreciate the goodness that it brings. This mushroom, it's called Coriolus versicolor. It is awesome it's like an anti-parasitic, basically, of the body. Helps your immune system stay strong. It's doing, I don't know, you can phrase it a lot of different ways. There's interesting ways you can get it into not just your dogs, cats, and horses, but also us. There's great stuff that we can do to get this in our body. It's a great way to just get this product that I had Baby Trump came on my channel, talked about how he had a throat tumor, neck tumor of some kind. Took a crap ton of this stuff, like 5 times the normal dose. Like they say every 50 pounds, take 1 pill. So he was taking like 5 times that or something crazy. I think he was drinking a bunch of water, being healthy, all that crazy stuff, prayers, and was able to kick it. So there's something to be said about the power of this product. People have noticed it with their animals. They just get sort of healthier. They got little skin bumps and stuff that start to go away and just a lot of different things. The coat gets better. Their teeth get healthier. Their mouths get healthier. There's a lot of things that are going on when you're putting this mushroom in your body. You can't do too much of it. That's the thing. Now, again, how you prefer to do that and how much you need to, it's kind of up to you. There's treats. A lot of people do it. If you got dogs and cats, I recommend the Mojos. Those are liver treats. Cats like them, dogs like them. You're a big win there. When it comes to dogs alone, these mush puppies, they love them, man. That's a great entry-level thing. It's just giving them a cookie once a day, maybe twice. I don't know, depending how you do it. You don't want to get them fat. That's also kind of part of the trick about this is you need to get more mushroom in their body, but you don't necessarily want to give them constant treats, right? Because then they're going to get fat. So ways to get around that, you've got foods or squeeze sauce that you can add to the food, like just depending on where they're at and their whole scheme of things. And also better treats, toys, I should say. Dogs don't care. They like balls, don't get me wrong, and they like balls that make noise, but they actually like sticks too. They do. It's funny. You give a dog a stick, they're like, yeah, that's actually cool. You finally gave me something legit, not a stupid ball made in China that's got lead on it. This has mineral in it. So as they chew on it, which they do, and it's good for their teeth, by the way, this actually grinds off into their mouth, gives them calcium, gives them those minerals, and is good for them. Helps them. It's healing. So a lot of positive, great things come from this place. DanRadioStyle.PetClub247.com. Cats, they've got the Nipster thing. They've got Pet Balm for everybody. You put it on dogs' noses, their paws. You put it on your knees, your face, whatever you want to. It's inorganic. What is it? What are the right words? It's vegan and all that nonsense. Organic, pure, natural, pure. Pew, pew. Whoops, I jumped ahead. I meant to do this. Horses have mush ponies, and then humans, we have a whole bunch of cool stuff too, by the way. The gummies are just an awesome way to go. They got a twin pack. You save some money doing that, and it's an easy way to, have some candy that is actually putting Coriolis versicolor inside of you. That's basically what they are. It's a very effective way to get Coriolis versicolor inside of you. It dissolves quickly because it's gelatin. They've got the pills, and they've got other ways to go about doing it. Some very powerful products you should look into. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Get some healthy products inside of your body and your doggies' and kitties' bodies. Do that good thing. This was posted out. Members given 20 hours to review $340 billion budget written by Texas House Democrats in secret. Giant-ass budget going on in Texas. At this point, this was the 31st, so it's probably being voted on today and is already maybe too late. Who knows? But that's like, I don't understand, how Senate can't stall that somehow, or I don't know what's going on. It just seems ridiculous. Mayor Adams urges judges to speed up the ruling on his dismissal of criminal case due to upcoming campaign deadline. Interesting, he needs to get in on this campaign deadline. I think it's this week. Sounds like it's like Thursday or something like that. And if this judge doesn't finish his ruling, then it might be a problem for him being able to run. How weird would it be if the judge dragged his feet? I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but it sounds like he could. And it sounds like Eric Adams is calling that out. Like, if he does this, the only reason he's doing this is because he wants to keep me from running. And in which case, he's probably got a lawsuit there, but it's going to cause problems. So, yeah, they hate Eric Adams because, again, he came out of the proverbial closet, if you will. Former Bloomberg exec wife and daughter were found dead in a South Carolina home, and the cops aren't going to say how they died. Now, I'm going to say I don't blame the cops for not saying how they died. There's obviously a investigation going on. Interesting that the town's called Greer. I actually knew, I lived in a city, small little itty city, and Greer was like the name. Like they owned the hardware store. They owned they had a phone company contract with the whole city. Like you could pay your bill there. Like there was something going on that. Like they were the town. They were like the family. It's kind of a trip. Some of you guys probably know who they are. I'm sure they're a big family. Who knows? Maybe that was the crazy person I was talking to. So yeah, they're all found dead. Nobody's talking to why. That's obviously suspicious. Something strange. I don't know if it's a murder suicide or what, but we'll maybe find out more. Trump administration pausing $210 million in federal funding to Princeton amid anti-Semitism stuff, but also, holy crap, $8.7 billion for Harvard. $8.7 billion for Harvard. Because of anti-Semitism type stuff. There are ways they allow people to protest there. He's literally going to pull $8.7 billion. More court cases that are obviously going to go forward. Now, these would probably get brought up in that Boston area. I'm sure the judge would pause this, but it would be allowed to be fought in court. And ultimately, I think Trump's going to be allowed to win this. He has to, because he's the executor, and that's all got to come forward. So there's a lot of shit I think that's just got to work through the courts. And so that's, again, Trump's doing executive orders beyond quickly, and they're having to file stuff beyond quickly. So everybody was, I guess, as ready as they can, right? That's what it feels like. White House waives executive order to fast-track deep-sea mining. So we're going to go, it sounds like it's in international waters, which is interesting. One, it gives us and, I don't know, a couple of countries, few countries in the world, the ability to go and mine stuff in the middle of the ocean. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm wondering if this is a way to quickly get precious minerals going because we're going to be doing manufacturing and we need to be able to produce them. Or if we're literally at that point that's close to what I've been fearing almost, I guess, that we need to be able to build some stuff very quickly. And if we don't start getting some raw materials, that shit ain't ever going to happen. So I don't know exactly, but this seems like a big push to immediately start mining ore, because that's what they're talking about, like copper and some other minerals, stuff you'd use to build, wiring, things along those lines. I mean, just a lot of really important manufacturing stuff. And by the way, drslikesgold.com, silver is going to end up on that list. drslikesgold.com. Donald Trump truthed this out. My telephone call with President El-Sisi of Egypt went very well. We discussed numerous topics, among which was the tremendous military progress we had made against the ships destroying Houthis in Yemen. Also discussed was Gaza and possible solutions, military preparedness, etc. So making friends with Egypt in a good way, and a lot of people, I think, are connecting the stuff coming out around the pyramid. I'm kind of wondering about all that, but I don't know if maybe we are closing in on somebody exposing the truth about that, because that doctor, Hiawassee or whatever his name is well, he's been blocking people from really getting to the truth of the Great Pyramid of Giza. A lot of people are talking about the scans and how deep they can go, and frankly, I don't know. It is weird, some of the stuff they're posting, the specific numbers they're posting. Like, it just seems like a lot of really crazy stuff that all of a sudden is coming out. Now, do we ultimately, as a government, have technologies that likely can scan? I understand we've got abilities to scan down for things like oil and stuff like that. We've had it for eons from satellites. So do I think we know what's underneath there? Yeah. Are we admitting how we got that? I don't think so. I think we're trying to pretend it's something else. I think we're trying to say it's a different technology. Kind of like, I mean, the moon landings. I know a lot of people don't believe we went there because there's fake pictures, and I get that, and I don't know for sure. I think we actually went there. I think we saw crazy shit, and I actually think they told us to stop coming here or else. I think we faked stuff because, one, we didn't know if we were going to pull it off. Two, you kind of have to have pictures, otherwise it doesn't seem like you did it. It was a rush with Russia and the United States, and again, if they failed, which they might have numerous times. But again, I don't know. I actually think we got stuff there. Whether we got people there, I don't know. Maybe not. We might not have got people there. I think we got craft there. And I don't think they liked it that much. And I think that quarantine's been kind of lifted over the past short number of years. Maybe 2012 having something to do with that too as well. Who knows? But yeah, a lot of contracts, a lot of money. Iran-backed Houthi terrorists. It was, again, all because of anti-Semitism, hence why this story's here. But Iran-backed Houthi terrorists have been decimated by the relentless strikes over the past 2 weeks. Many of their fighters and leaders are no longer with us. We hit them every day and night, harder and harder. Their capabilities that threaten shipping and the religion are rapidly being destroyed. Our attacks will continue until they are no longer a threat to freedom of navigation. I said region instead of religion. Sorry about that. The choice for the Houthis is clear. Stop shooting at U.S. ships, and we will stop shooting at you. Otherwise, we've only just begun, and the real pain is yet to come for both the Houthis and their sponsors in Iran. One thing that bums me a little bit is Ben Fulford was talking about how one of our carriers just got blown up by the Houthis. If that's actually true, and we haven't found out yet, that'll be insane. But I can't imagine that's even close to true. Again, these guys don't just run around by themselves. I agree with him that they're not necessarily the best ship to have to defend, but nonetheless, they do extend quite a bit of power. Russia warns of catastrophic consequence if U.S. strikes Iran. So I don't know. They just said it's going to be a catastrophic consequence. They didn't necessarily say us. Just, I think they're telling us that Iran's going to be, like, they're going to do the absolute worst. I don't know if this, how this plays out is really up to us, guys. I'm just glad I don't have to decide. But yeah, I am. Peace is the one I prefer. And it seems that we're definitely drifting in the war direction a little bit. Putin begins his biggest Russian military call-up in years. Everybody is preparing for escalations, and I guess you have to. But he's called up 160,000 men aged 18 to 30. This first time, the biggest number since 2011, back when they first started their war footing, essentially. They specifically said it has nothing to do with Ukraine because everybody knows Ukraine's winding down. It's all the other shit that's about to happen. By the way, I forgot this. This is all crap. She lied. We're going to talk about that, by the way, coming up here. But yeah, that bummed me out. I was wrong about the lady, the Epstein accuser chick, the Goofy. Yeah, she lied. She was a liar. She lied though. So come on. It's not necessarily my fault that I didn't know that. China launches military drills around Taiwan. We talked about the ships yesterday. Apparently, they did a whole bunch of more shit. So it's just sort of an addition to that. Some bunch of ships, both north, south, and west, or something like that. Like they were totally pretty much surrounding, minus the south, which is probably where our carrier is hanging out for the most part. They're like, all right, we'll let you have your spot. We'll be up here. But this is, I'm sure, put everybody on edge a little bit. I think Pete Hegseth went out there. He was out there in Asia, and some say that's why they did this, right? This was that retaliation. This is that whole, like, North Korea launches missiles every time we, like, shake hands with South Korea's president or anything, or even say their names maybe out loud. I don't know what the rules are. But, yeah, Chinese put a lot of stuff out there. So, whatever. We'll see. We know they're practicing. We know they're preparing for the potentiality of having to take over the island. They're probably hoping to handle it diplomatically or whatever that actually means when you're a communist. Prosecutors directed to seek death penalty against United Healthcare killing suspect Luigi Mangione. Pam Bondi's pushing for this. Loses a couple points in my book, but whatever. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I, once again, say I don't like capital punishment, but meh. Here was Kid Rock hanging out with Donald Trump. Of course, sir. And they're signing the executive action that's going to fix some of this ticket pricing bullshit that happens for these concert guys, these gentlemen. And they even use his real name, which tripped me out. And he's in a crazy-ass outfit, too. Like, okay, so many things going on at once. It's I was having a hard time.
Of course, sir. So this is an executive order, as you said, that deals with the ticket reselling business. For fans of live entertainment and for entertainers as well, the ticket reselling industry has become a huge issue. These people use bots and computer algorithms to buy up huge blocks of tickets and then jack up the price so that fans of live entertainers like Mr. Ritchie, I almost called him Mr. Rock, don't have access to concerts the way that they should. And when they do, it's at exorbitantly high prices. So what this executive order does, it charges the FTC and the Department of Justice with rigorously enforcing laws on the books in collaboration with state attorneys general that have power over consumer protection and other people who have the power to really crack down on this issue so that entertainers and fans won't be subject to these abusive and oftentimes illegal practices.
Good. Thank you very much.
It's a freaking mouthful, man. Holy crap. Anyway. This is Laura Loomer posting this, which I will be honest, I'm not real fond of, but whatever. Putting this out. Gold digger and professional gaslighter. This St. Clair's Ashley lady was caught on camera outside of her ritzy Manhattan condo, paid for by her sugar daddy Elon Musk, selling her $100,000 at Tesla that she paid said was gifted to her by Elon during their romantic relationship. Elon Musk says, I don't know if the child is mine or not, but I'm not against finding out. No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I've given Ashley $2.5 million, and I am sending her a $500,000 a year. Like, for him, it's like, whatever. Like, it's probably a write-off of some kind. That's why he has so many kids, I bet. Great write-offs. They probably actually are. In the big picture. Cheaper to try to raise one in his mind, and the write-off he gets for it is worth it. Whatever the case is, she is like kind of responding back, saying, this paternity thing, you're just trying to control everything. Now, if she's literally selling stuff and getting paid rather well and then trying to make noise too, because I felt like said something recently too. Whatever the case is, I don't know. They got their little thing going on. I think a lot of this is meant to try to drag Elon Musk down. If you guys are into the specifics, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's a bunch of like trash, right? It's just like trash TV. Judge blocks release of some records related to the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. Apparently, they don't want to show the pictures of the bodies at all. And I kind of get it. Like, the family says they would suffer irreparable harm. I get the whole side of people that are like just totally curious and want to see super badly, but that's not necessarily a reason to. And here's the Here to me is the real reason, and I think this is the irreparable harm, without a doubt, is what it does to their longevity of their films and of their them as an actor. Because a lot of times when people see them old, I think it was one of the reasons why Gene Hackman was staying out of the limelight a lot, was because he had aged, he was really old, and it's not good. Like, people want to remember you the way you were, not how you are. And so a lot of times even parents do this, where they won't necessarily want to see their kids because right at the last moment, because they feel and look so bad. Like, I just want you to remember me how I am. Like, I don't. So I feel like there's kind of a side to that that's like worth respect, right? Is it? I mean, I don't know, man. You guys tell me. Get mad at me in the comments. Let's see. So here's Virginia Giuffre. The story comes out. So first there was a crash, and it put her to the point where she was going to lose her kidney. So, she's trying to get money or something. This pisses me off. The cops come out, and they're like, the crash was minor. What are you talking about? There's like, the crash was minor. So then I was going to like run with this and be like, wow, crash was minor. So that means she got beat up somewhere in the UK. Yeah, that's what happened. Because that's what she's obviously fucked up. And then, no, she comes out and says, I was just kidding. I made it up. Virginia Giuffre says she mistakenly, sorry, it was an accident. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply that she did it in any other reason. It was an accident that I posted this 4 days left to live thing on Instagram. I didn't mean to do that. I have a hard time with things sometimes, just when they're stupid. Restaurant chain Hooters. This might make some of you happy. Great story to close out on. They filed for bankruptcy, and what they're going to do is they're going to actually enable the initial founder, the founder is a group of people, I think, to actually buy back, it sounds like, a few of these restaurants, probably the original ones, and maintain the name. So for you guys that appreciate what Hooters are and appreciate what Hooters were and certainly appreciate what Hooters are to become. I mean, we love Hooters. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. Proud to be American. Yes. We're, again, a lot going on in the world. Changing fast, too. So we're going to find out. I'm wondering about these court cases. Wonder how long they've got. See what the Supreme Court does. But ultimately, I think Trump's got an avenue. A legal avenue, for that matter. A legal avenue to actually move forward. I needed that. I was having a hard time today until that happened. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. We're going to continue working together. It's what I've been saying, shoulder to shoulder. I'm right there with you. I have hard days too. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.